Money. I'm your host, Kevin Bemmel, and we're here every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and an hour in for Central and Mountain. And we talk about all things related to business, professions, wealth building, how to handle that part of your life here in the three pillars of attainment, dealing with the finances realm, particularly, although, anytime you're dealing with finances, you're inevitably dealing with relationships as well as, your identity. So, probably the most important aspect of our professional lives is the people that we interact with, whether it's coworkers, whether it's customers, whether it's clients. We essentially have no business unless we are interacting with other people. Now, in some cases, that group may be very small. I was talking to somebody yesterday who's a writer, and he commented to me that and we were working on a business matter for him, and he commented to me that he was really surprised by how things went because he basically spends his day writing. He doesn't interact with a lot of people other than his agent and his publisher, etc. And so his network, if you will, is pretty small. Other people, their whole business revolves around making new contacts. So anyone in sales knows this. And most of us probably fall somewhere in between. So if we're looking for professional growth, if we're looking to advance our career, get a promotion, promote our business, we need to be working on our network. Now, there's two aspects of working a network. One is increasing the closeness of your network, and another is expanding the number of people with whom you network or with whom you have relationships. So I've talked about both of those before. And if you go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/at the way to wow, you can look at some of those episodes. And today I'm going to focus primarily on expanding your network, but expanding it in a focused way, and in a way that won't cost you anything in terms of dollars and cents. It will just take time. And while I can appreciate time is at a premium, I'm going to be using LinkedIn, and while LinkedIn has a paid membership, it's expensive, and for most of us, I think it's unless we're in sales or something like that, where it really is worth our while. I don't find that the cost is justified, frankly. Now, if you're recently out of the military, you can get a free subscription to LinkedIn Premium for a time. I believe it's for 3 years. And there may be other circumstances where you can get a free membership, if you will, or a free access to LinkedIn Premium. But I think, building our networks, expanding the number of people with whom we have relationships is an ongoing function. And so we need something that is, on the one hand, sustainable and accessible, but on the other hand, is not a monthly drain on our resources, because some months we may just not have the time to be building our networks. And so then any money we spend on that is essentially wasted. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and go over to LinkedIn. Okay, so you should be seeing my LinkedIn profile, or whatever you call it. You have your feed. Sales Navigator is, it's one of the products they sell. Here's new posts. Okay, so this is just where you see what's going on. So what I'm going to recommend is And I'm gonna do this based on my business because I already have it set up, and so you'll see there are certain things you can and cannot do, right away. It will take some time. Um, but what I'm going to suggest you do, you go over here to For Business, okay, and see here, there's an icon. It says Groups. So click on Groups, okay, and what you're going to get is the list of groups that you're of which you're a member. Now, if you're already a member of a group that relates to your profession, so you're all set. If not, and in this case, I'm going to veer off. Well, so let's say you're in cyber security, okay, and um, you want to expand your network in that field, okay? So go to search cybersecurity groups. Okay, here you go, cybersecurity groups, and just go through, and you can see. I mean, a lot of these groups have a lot of members. So this Cybersecurity Forum Initiative has over 500,000 members. Wow. Okay. Mission to provide cyber warfare awareness, guidance, and security. Okay, so this is focused on cyber warfare. Okay, cyber security. There's 136,000 members in today's information economy. The protection of information assets is a key element in long-term competitive. Blah 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 blah. Okay, and you can always go to the group. Okay, and you'll have a description about it. Go here to show all. Okay, and this gives you the details of the group. And in most cases, you're going to have to apply to join. So see, this is a private listed group, which means you can see that the group exists, but you have to apply to join. Okay, it's not a public group. Okay, so the first step in expanding your contacts using LinkedIn is to find a group, preferably a large group, okay, that you can join, that has the people in it with whom you want to network, okay, and establish relationships. All right, so I'm gonna go back to groups, because if I click to join a cybersecurity group, it may take a while for them to do that, and we don't want to sit here, all day doing that. Okay, so as many of you know, my primary business is being a professional fiduciary here in California. So I'm part of something called the Trusts and Estates Network. And now, if you look at trusts and estates, okay, if you search that, trusts and estates, and go to groups, okay, you're going to see this is the top group by far. Okay, it says 42,000 members. And you can see there are other ones, but all of them drop precipitously in terms of the number of members. Okay, the next biggest one is 300. Okay, and then it goes down from there. So now, by the way, I've done this technique with both small groups and large groups, and it works no matter what the size of the group. That doesn't matter. And in some ways, what I found was it worked better with small groups. I think because everybody sort of gets to know everybody else. However, once you're connected with everybody in a small group, so then what do? You got to go on to another group or something like that, and it's hard to participate in a lot of groups time-wise. So in my case, this is my Trust and Estates Network is my primary forum for establishing and building relationships. Okay, and the people I want to meet are estate planning attorneys, accountants involved in estates and trusts, people in financial services involved with estates and trusts, other fiduciaries, excuse me, and that's it, and also then people who do valuations for estates and trusts. Now, occasionally I'll come upon somebody who doesn't excuse me, do any of those things, and yet still looks like a good a good contact for me. And so I will, ask to connect with them as well. Now, I do a weekly show on trusts and estates, as some of you may know, on Mondays. And so sometimes I'll come across somebody who I think will make an interesting guest. And so I'll look to connect with them, even though there might not be an opportunity for us to do business directly in terms of perhaps, referring clients and such. So my philosophy is I want to provide value to people with whom I network, and inevitably, if I'm providing value to other people, it seems business comes my way. Okay, so if you go over here in the group, you see how many members there are. Okay, and you can see I'm connected with 246 people in this group. Okay, you see the number there. So don't worry about invite connections. That's inviting people you're already connected to join the group. And you can certainly do that to help the group out. But if you're looking to make new connections, so go to show all. Okay. And here is a list of members. Okay. And you see, you see, it's going to go on and on. In this case, it's almost 42,000 members. But by the way, I was in the group before it had even 40,000 members. So, and here you eventually you'll get down to you'll click the link show more. Okay, and it'll load more, and it keeps going on and on and on. Okay, all right. So go through now. Go through the list. Okay, so here's somebody at the top here, Blake Coe. Okay, now when you're dealing with just the top people on the list, you can click through directly to that member. So there's Blake Coe, okay, and he's with Phillips Auctions, okay, and he's in the group. So this means that auctioneers typically they're involved in selling assets of an estate, but they're also involved oftentimes with valuing assets in an estate. Okay, so this could potentially be someone for me to connect with. And you notice right here it says he's third level connection, which means there's no direct connection. So sometimes you'll see a connect button. Sometimes you go over to more and you'll see the connect button here. So go to connect. Okay. Now here's the key. Don't just click send, because you're just, arbitrarily connecting. That doesn't do a whole lot. Okay. So you want to add a note. You've got 300 characters. So I have a pre-written note that I keep in Evernote. Okay. And so what I do is I just copy it. Okay. And I paste it into the message optional box, and I fill in the person's name. So, hi, Blake. Okay. And then here's my message. As a licensed professional fiduciary, I am reaching out to others in our field to see if we can help each other build our practices. Would you like to connect? Okay. Courage at all times, Kevin. Now, you say, well, wait a minute, you got another 200 characters. Yeah, I do. But I've found that a short note is more effective. Okay. And then you click send. Okay. And there you go. Okay. Now, I keep a list of people that I reach out to whom I reach out, I should say. So I put in Blake Coe. Okay. And he in this case he's an other. I do my list in French. It just lets me practice my French. Okay. And there you go. All right. So then you just backtrack in your browser and you're back to the membership list of the group. Okay. Now, so here's Gary Norsworthy, mechanical manufacturing engineer at ECA Medical Instruments. Honestly, not sure why he's in the group. Maybe he wants information for his own estate planning purposes, but this isn't somebody that I could give business to most likely. So I'll skip him. Okay. Next is Joshua Andrews, CFP, Certified Financial Planner, and he's a second level connection, Associate Wealth Advisor at Resource Consulting Group. So I'll go ahead and click on Joshua's profile. Okay. And you see, here's my mutual connection. Okay. That's why he's second level, because we have a mutual connection. Okay. And here in this case, there's a connect button right on, right under available. You don't have to go into more. It's available here, open. And that's oftentimes the case when it's a second level connection. Okay. And you can go down here, you can read a little bit about the person. If you're not sure whether it's really someone that you can potentially give business to and establish a relationship with. So Joshua Andrews looks like a good prospect. He went to Samford University. Interestingly enough, I know someone who went to Samford, so there's an opportunity for us to connect on that. Okay, so again, just click connect. Again, we're going to add a note. Okay, and just copy and paste. And here's Joshua. Okay, and okay, and it says the same thing as before. Okay, so we'll press send. Okay, and now we'll add Joshua Andrews. Okay, and he's a financial services professional. So there we go. All right, and okay, so here's what's going to happen. Now let's click back. So eventually what's going to happen is you're going to get so far down in the list that when you click back through, it's going to take you back. So here, I'll show you what I mean. So let's go as far down as let's. Okay, so Okay, so here's Julie Wright, Wealth, Life, and Healthcare Consultant at AmeriLife. Okay, so I'll click through to Julie. Okay, and okay, so and let's say I connect with her. Okay, but when I click back, see, it takes me back to the top of the members list. Okay, which means I've got to spend all this time clicking, going back through. And I have to remember, okay, where did I leave off? Oh, there. Okay, there's Julie. All right. So see, there's extra time there. So once you get to the situation where clicking back means you have to scroll through the list for any amount of time, what I recommend doing is opening up another browser window in LinkedIn. Oops. Hold on one second. Okay, and okay, so this is going to get a little bit difficult, but let's let's look up Julie Wright. Okay, so I'm going to go over to a different LinkedIn tab. Okay, and now we're going to go. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have to scroll down, and we're gonna put in Julie Wright. Okay, and look, here she is at the top of the list. Wealth, Life, and Healthcare Consultant. Okay, there you are at AmeriLife. Okay, so go to her full profile. Okay, and okay, there we are. Connect. Okay, so we'll copy in our message, Julie, and send. Okay, and then we'll put her here over on our list. And I'll show you in a minute why you want to keep this list. All right, now you're just going to do it. So then you'll go back to the tab and see we're still in the same place. Here's Julie. Okay, and let's say we've done everyone above Julie. We've already selected those. Okay, so now we go down here. Don't see anybody. Don't see anybody. Well, here maybe there's this Carol Joyce. Okay, so we'll go back to this tab. And we're going to search Carol Joyce. Okay, and see if here she is, manager at JTC Group. Okay, there you go. Okay, she's on the Isle of Man. She's not in the United States. So for my business, this is, she's probably not a good candidate. Although she might be a candidate to appear on my show, but for someone for me to network with, probably not. Okay, so we'll go back to the list. Okay, and let's add some more people. Okay, and see, click add more. Okay, and here we are. Okay, Lee Helmers, Vice President, Certified Financial Planner, Private Wealth Advisor, U.S. Bank, Private Wealth Management. Okay, so let's see if we can find Lee Helmers. Okay, so we'll go in here, Lee Helmers, and there he is, Lee Helmers, CFP. Okay, he's in Lexington, Kentucky. Okay, good. We have a mutual connection. That's why he's a second level. All right. And so we'll go ahead and connect with Lee, or at least request to connect with Lee. Oops. Okay. All right. And so then we'll put Lee Helmers on our list. Wealth manager. Okay. All right. So I've connected with 4 people, and basically now it's just a matter, sometimes I'll look to do 10 a day, 20 a day. It depends on how much time you have, how assertive you want to be in expanding your network, how many people you want to bring to your network. Okay. All right. So why am I keeping this spreadsheet? Well, first of all, I want to know who I've connected with, although it should say pending. Okay. Sometimes I'll come up on someone and the name will seem familiar, and I'll search them. And indeed, I have requested contacting them before, but for some reason it's not listed pending. Now, I don't check that on everyone. I only check that when a name seems really familiar to me. But in any event, what I want to do is, first of all, know how many people have I requested to connect with, and what percentage are in each category. So I started doing this. I forget what the day was. D14 minus 8, A2. Where's... Oh, A2. Okay, yeah, I started doing this October 23rd, October 19th of 2023. So October, November, December, January. No, wait. October, November, December, January. Yeah, so I've been doing this for roughly 3 months. Okay, and in fact, down here, it shows that I've been doing it for over 101 day period. Okay, and I've averaged contacting 11.5 people per month. I'm sorry, per day, per weekday, I believe that is, by the way. Okay, and roughly 42% of them have been lawyers. Interestingly enough, only about 6% of them have been accountants. So there aren't a lot of accountants in these groups. Only about 5% of them are real estate agents. And about 37% are financial services professionals. 2% are doing valuation. About 6% are other fiduciaries. And then about 3% are others. So you can see the 2 groups that I've been able to reach out to the most are lawyers, which is a good source of business for what I do, and people in financial services, which is also good. Okay, so then what we're waiting for then is to see who responds by connecting. So what I do is, when someone connects, I pull their name out of the master list and I put it into the connect list. Okay, so as of the last couple of days, I haven't done any new ones for a while, but I've had 2 people connect, and you'll notice I put them in italics because I haven't responded to the fact that they've connected yet. Okay, so when somebody connects, okay, what you want to do is send a follow-up message to them. Okay, so let's go over here. The easiest way to do it is to go to My Network. Okay, and you can go to Connections. Okay, and you'll notice that Vicky Cheers and Mamie Moore or Marnie, I'm sorry, Marnie. Yeah, Marnie Moore are the latest two. And actually, okay, so here's a third person. She must have just done this morning. Karen Harris Melendez. So let's find her on the list. Oops, did I spell her name wrong? No. Now, one of the challenges with this is, yes, I may have spelled her name wrong. Let's just try Karen Carnegie. Nope. Okay, that's weird. So someone is connected with me. So here's what you do. You can look at message. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That's not some. Okay, that she's the sister of a friend of mine that I connected with. Okay, so for networking purposes, it's just these last two here that I haven't connected with. Okay, so Marnie Moore will do connect and see. Here you can see the message I sent her before, and then I have my follow-up message in Evernote as well, and I just copy it off. Now, when you're already connected, you don't have a limit in terms of the size of the message. So I do a longer message. So I'll say, "Hi, Marnie." Okay. And I say, "Thank you for connecting." Okay. If you would like to have a brief call to share some specifics about your work and how we may be able to help each other, my number is, I give you my number, or you can use this link to schedule a time at your convenience, and I'm happy to call you. And I give her the link to my calendar, to my schedule. Okay. And then just, Courage at All Times, Kevin Bemmel, blah, blah, blah. And then I put in a link to my show. Why not? Let people know about it. Okay. And then, so then, I filled in her name, Marnie. So send. Okay. And one of the things you see is it brings up this icon for schedule now. All right. And then I'm going to do the same thing for Vicky. Okay. Same message. Bang. Okay. So I've done my follow-up messages now. So then this is just my way of keeping track. So now I take them out of italics. So I'm up to date on those. Now, if someone responds with either, scheduling a meeting time or requesting information, then I put them in this next category. And I won't get into all the colors and such too much. But generally speaking, if someone responds by scheduling a call or suggesting they'd like to schedule a call, so then I'll put them in green. Okay. And again, if it's perspective, just like it's perspective up here, green in italics means it's perspective. Okay. If they set a call, okay, then I'll put them in green, just regular, font. Okay. And then after I speak with them, if they're someone that I want to continue to work to develop a relationship with, then I'll underline them. Okay. And what you see down here now is of the, 820 people. Yeah. Of the 820 people. Okay. I've connected to 21 of them as potential sources as people to develop relationships with, or roughly 2.5%. Okay, you say, wow, that's really small. It is, but the reality is this doesn't take a lot of time. You could easily bang out 20 requests to connect in 20 or 30 minutes, depending on how efficient you are. And then you can send out the follow-up messages, again, 10, 20, 30 minutes at the most. Okay. And then once you get to the point where you're scheduling a phone call, I recommend you use a link so that you don't have to be going back and forth. When are you available? When am I available? Just give them a scheduling link. Okay. And so then by the time you're talking to them, you're talking with actual prospects in terms of potential new relationships. Oh, and I realized you can't see. Oh my gosh. I realized you can't see the spreadsheet. Hold on one second. Let me stop sharing. Okay. I'm going to window Microsoft. Ooh, unable to share screen. Oh, it's not going to let me. Oh, shoot. Okay, I should have tested this. So my apologies. You unfortunately you can't. So let's try this. Let's entire screen share. Let's see if this will work. No, it's not going to work. Okay. All right. I have to update my permissions for you to see this. So if you want a template of the spreadsheet that I'm using to keep track, feel free to let me know. Just drop a request in the chat, and or send me an email. The links to do that will be in the show notes after this episode posts to our YouTube channel. So by doing this, and the key is to do it consistently. So what I recommend is put into your calendar 30 minutes a day, 45 minutes a day. Maybe, honestly, I wouldn't do it for more than an hour a day. I have at times done it for more than an hour a day. It is pretty exhausting to do it for that longer period of time. But if you consistently do it for 30 to 45 minutes a day, a weekday anyway, I suspect your results will be pretty similar to mine, where for every 100 people you just request to connect with, you will get 2.5, right? Between 2 and 3 who you can establish relationships with. Okay. And then from there, you'll transfer them into your relationship tracking grid, which I've talked about in other shows. And again, if you'd like a copy of that, let me know. I'm happy to send you. It's an Excel spreadsheet as well, and you can keep track of them. So I am going to take a couple minutes, since we have the time, to review this aspect of it, which is and I recommend to you here. I'll bring this up. Hang on one second. Okay, so there's a book called let me make sure I'm giving you. Yep, here we go. How to be a power connector. And let's go back here. I'll go ahead and share my screen so you can see this. Here we go. Share. Okay. So How to Be a Power Connector by Judy Robinett. And this is the system that I use, the 5-50-100 rule for turning your business network into profits. This is an outstanding book. And Judy's theory is that we can effectively keep in touch with roughly 150 people, 155 people. Okay. And I find that that's basically the case. Now, I actually work to keep in touch with about 170 people because I include just, personal friends that I have no business connection to in my list, because I really value keeping in touch with my friends, and I like to know, the last time we spoke. But in any event, this happens to be the Audible book here. Let's go over to the paperback. Not that it really matters. Okay, so here you go. Create a personal power grid of influence to spark professional and personal success. So the grid that I use, it's not exactly like the one Judy has in her book. I've revised it over time and to make it work better for me. And by the way, in all of these things, I recommend that you take my technique and make it your own. Make the changes that you need to make so that it'll work as effectively as possible for you. Okay, but I recommend this book because, and it's very easy to read. It's, I think, just a couple of hundred pages, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 256 pages in total. And this is really the system that I use. And I'll put a link in the show notes to Judy's book. And okay, we'll stop sharing. There we go. Okay, so based on that book, what you want to do then is create your grid of relationships and make sure that you're periodically contacting them. Most of the time, you can just give them a call, checking in, see how you're doing. How can I help you with your business? My friend Bill Gross is brilliant at doing that. He's built really his entire practice doing that. And I tend to do the same thing, although I candidly am not as good at it as Bill is. But you can also, like, if you come across an article that will interest somebody or something like that, send it to them, email it to them, or whatever. And just you're making friends with them. That's really what it comes down to. How do we make friends? We help somebody out. Okay, and that's really it. So the keys to this are, first of all, again, I'm just going to kind of review this for a moment. It's finding a group where you're likely to meet people with whom you have similar interests, similar professional interests, and then connecting with them in an efficient way. Okay, keeping track of who you connect with, and periodically reaching out to them, and you can pretty quickly build your network. So I mentioned over the last 104 days that I've been using this particular system. Okay, I've established 21 new contacts, and many of them we've established already, pretty solid relationships. So I have one in particular that we trade information and such quite often. And in another situation, we're looking at working on a case together. I just interviewed another one on my show, and so on and so on and so on. So all of these are by way of creating the professional network that's necessary in order to be successful. That's really, the name of the game. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to, post in our social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. If you have, especially if the questions could be applicable to, our broader audience. If you have a private matter, feel free to either direct message me if we're connected already on social media, or send me an email. My email address will be in the show notes, and I'm happy to reach out to you and help you with whatever your questions are. And candidly, if there's enough people where you want to do a Zoom tutorial or something like that, I'm happy to take 45 minutes and do a Zoom tutorial and sort of talk you through the process yourself. Okay, we'll do some preparatory work before we would do the Zoom tutorial. That is by having you search out an appropriate group, so we're not having to sit around waiting for you to be admitted into a group. But once you're in a group, we can do everything else, I think, in about 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and I'm happy to do that. So if you're interested in having that, by all means, do let me know, and we can put that together. So that's all for today. We're not going to go our full hour. That's okay, hopefully, by you. But I do thank you for tuning in, and would love to hear your comments as to how you find this in terms of usefulness, etc. And this also wraps up our shows for this week. So I'll be back next week on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time with Trust and Estates Weekly. On Tuesday will be the next episode of Business Lessons from the Military, also at 10 a.m. Pacific. And then 7 days from today will be the next episode of People Making Money. Again, all my shows now are at 10 a.m. so we can be together at the same time every day. And since I do have a few extra minutes, I just want to mention a couple things. If you have an interesting way of making a living, or you have a technique for marketing, or you have a way to help people better pursue wealth building, drop me a message. Let me know. I'd love to have you as a guest on this show. If you're involved in trusts and estates, I'd be happy to have you on my Trust and Estates Weekly show. And if you're a military historian, especially if you're an amateur military historian, and you have an interesting perspective about something in the military that applies to our professional and business lives, let me know. Perhaps you'd be a guest on Business Lessons from the Military. My friend Josh Yeager came and did an episode talking about Ulysses S. Grant and the battle of Vicksburg back in the Civil War, and how we can apply how Grant pursued that battle to our business lives. It was fascinating. Josh is a fiduciary like me, but he has a keen interest in military history. And when I found that out, I said, hey, brother, you got to come on and share this with other people. So it was a great episode. So always interested in hearing from you. If you're interested in being a guest, or if you know someone that you'd like to see be a guest, by all means, let me know about that as well. So that'll wrap us up for today. Thanks again for watching. Wishing you a wonderful rest of the day and rest of the week. And signing off as I always do. Marie, you're my belle, darling. All the best, folks.